And my name is Kelly. And I'm going to do a little bit of motivation because it's Motivation Monday. And as always, I'm saying let's all become better humans. So let's see what happens. I'm going to check my stream here, and then we'll see what happens. See what happens. All right. And I think I'm good. See how this goes here. All right. Oh, here we go. We got two people. Hello. Thank you for coming in. All right, now I'm just checking, trying to see if my stream is going. Oh, hello. The Bud Files and Samoan Watchman. Hey, good morning. ¿Cómo está? Good morning. Well, thank you so much for coming. This was a little on the fly, so we'll see how this goes. All right, now I'm just glad that it worked. And we have okay, Miguel's here. Who knows? ¿Cómo está? Buenos dias. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm still learning this restream, so bear with me. Even though I've used this before, but it seems like I'm having fun stuff. So as always, we're gonna make sure that, like I said, it's Motivation Monday, and let's continue to be better humans. Yes, that's the evil plan of the I Bring It Every Day channel. Yes. So anyway, good to see everybody. All right, now let's get started. So I put up a little short earlier, just talking about. Well, let me start again. So at the I Bring It Every Day channel, what we try to do is we try to start the week off on a positive note. And Motivation Monday, I started this a while back just to kind of really, I even though it's for other people, it's for myself as well, to kind of get myself focused for the week. And not that you have to be that seriously focused, but you just want to try to do one or two different things, that you've always wanted to do. And then you just take the steps, to get to what you want. And just accomplishing a few things. Yes. All right, now. Oh, we got a few people. Oh, my goodness. I looked away 1 second. So thank you all for coming in. Let me go back in here. Yeah. So anyway, so that's the plan of the channel. And so today I had a few things on my mind. And if you will bear with me, please participate as much as you can. And you can tell me if I'm off. Tell me if I'm, hitting the right direction or if I'm off, because I don't mind if people tell me that. Okay. So let's see. So we have, Mom's Place and More. Hello. Came in, Ashley. And we have, Associate Minister and Reserve Deacon, Mr. Terry Jones. Hello. Hello. I bring it every day. Grand Rising. I can hear you clearly. No lag, no echo. Oh, good. Yes. Awesome. He's a great moderator, by the way. And then Renee's here. So you're leaving tomorrow, Renee. We'll have a safe trip. So I guess you get to hang out one more day with us. But the weather is weird. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It's very, very strange. And we have Miss Beela's Comet or Beela the dog. That's right. You changed your name. See? Once I learn the name, it's in my head and I can't get rid of it. All right. And we have Controversial Cruising. Hello. Good to see you. Oh, and you're working. Okay, now. Make that money. And am I human? Is that a question? I hope you are. I hope you are. And then, yes, Terry Jones is reminding us. Oh, yep. Please set an alarm for your cell phone for each of these wonderful, informative, entertaining YouTube live stream. Thank you. All right, now. And Shatika's here. Buenos dias, muy bien. Awesome. And I normally don't. I speak a little Spanish, and my husband is Spanish, but he doesn't speak Spanish. least not to me or anybody else. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, what the heck? But anyway, there's that. And everybody's saying hi. Cacophony, nice. I like that name. I'm here too. How's it going? Good, good, good. And Suzanne's here. Okay, welcome in. So this week, I wish I had something. I don't have anything necessarily out of the ordinary to say. You know what I mean? But I was kind of talking about, for me, this is streams of consciousness. So just bear with me. And this is what I've been thinking about. So as always, on social media, this is where we want to be. At least in my opinion, this is where we need to get to, because there's just a lot of, you know, crazy stuff that you see on social media. But anyway, and as always, I say, I'm going to put this up here. Live your best life now. And the bottom line is, you don't know how much time you're going to get. And I've been repeating this. It's just been on repeat, and I hope this isn't too much for everybody who's been coming, but you don't know how much time you have. So if there's anything that you want to do on your bucket list, you have to do it now. And you have to make sure that one of the ways of doing that is living your best life now. And what does that mean to everybody? Living your best life. So lately for me, it's been a lot of things. So spending time with family has been number one. Number two is trying to do that which makes me happy. And I've been doing a lot of, knitting and crocheting and things like that. So my hobbies have been keeping me pretty happy. Um, I've also tried to consciously do the right thing, even, despite maybe some negative stuff going on. And so that is one way that I've been living my best life. And then also just doing the best that I can in all the areas of my life that matter to me. So it's family stuff, it's home stuff. It's I'm trying to treat people, as like sort of like, treat people as you want to be treated, that kind of a thing. And trying to do no harm. And that's really the ways that I have been living my best life. But let's see what people say in the chat. All right. So let's see. Oh, yeah, Moises is a man of few words. That is true. Yeah, my husband. Well, yeah, it's funny. So yeah. He is a man of few words. That pretty much explains it all. Okay. Uh-oh. Let's see here. Yeah, the weather is so bipolar, but not complaining. God is good. Yeah, and so for me, that has been a little bit of well, anyway, I was looking back at my hometown, and somebody put something up on Instagram, and they are flooding really badly. And it's so scary because I remember when I was very, very young, there was a really bad flood in my town, and it knocked out pretty much the whole downtown. It was crazy. So anyway, I just noticed that there's that kind of flooding going on right now. That's the only thing, Shatika, that scares me a little bit with some of this weather. It's just strange. Yeah, it's been really weird. And yes. Okay, and then yes. And Terry saying, I bring it every day. Please send that lie back to the pits of hell. If your YouTube channel was evil, I wouldn't be your number one hype man and proud of it. Oh, thank you. Much love. Awesome. Yes. Yes. And let's see. But that is the truth. You know what I mean? Just living, yeah, men of few words are the strongest ones. Oh wow. I think that is true. That is very true. I have to say that's the one thing I will say. I think I did choose pretty well, in the spouse situation. Because truth be told, not that I had that many chances at life, but I remember when I met my husband, and I would say anybody who's looking or whatever, any young people who might be out there listening, that my husband and I really interviewed each other before we got together. And it was very interesting. And I think that was the best thing I ever did. I had never done that before. But yes. And it turns out that he was probably one of the better people that I ever met in my life, romantically, which is interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Here we go. I like this too. Yes. It is important to get out and touch grass. That is for sure. And I know, like, we have some gardeners in here and people, but we have a lot of people I notice, on YouTube that are shut in. And I think that is really difficult. And for various reasons, But even though online is fun, and I will say I do enjoy, doing online stuff. But the thing that you have to realize is that you do have to sort of anyway, it comes back to balance, and you just have to, and I'm going to write this down, balance. I'm getting back to that, and I've talked about this before. How do you live your best life? So it's a balance, and I think this is my opinion, and you can tell me, if I'm off base there, but yeah, I think balance is the deal. So you want to have, like for me, it's a good home life, it's a good uh, family life, it's a good friendship life. I'm trying to do all those things, uh, in a good, artistic life, a working life. And that's one of the things that I learned, from a lot of people. Yeah. But also getting outside is important, you know. So for me, it's balance. Yep. Let's see here. I'm a little behind. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Do the right thing. I like this. Yes. We must remember to do the right thing. It's more than a Spike Lee movie. Yeah, that's for sure. And it's hard because sometimes the thing that I realize, and I wish I could think of the verse, and maybe Minister Terry can, I think it's Second Timothy 1 something, but it's where it talks about having a sound mind, like you need to have a sound mind uh, in life, really, because you make a lot of mistakes. And I wish I put that, I did put it away. Um, but that scripture where they talk about having a sound mind, you really cannot make good decisions if you're angry, upset, those kind of things. And so you have to have a sound mind whenever you're making life decisions. And so for example, if you're ever bullied or attacked or whatever, your first instinct is to get angry. And when you get angry, you do cuckoo for cocoa puff stuff. And I'm just going to say it like that. Just, you know, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, battling with people and things like that. And that's one of those things just in life. And I think as you get older, you realize that it's not worth arguing with people who are small minded. You know what I mean? Things like that. But yeah, but definitely getting some fresh air. So the way that I balance out the crazy is to get outside and move around a little bit. Let's see. What did Renee say? Um, oh, here we go. She said, for me, oops, sorry. It means being content with your life and being kind to those around me. Nice. Do the right thing when no one is looking. Ah, I love that. See, that's really key because, like, see, the people that have to announce when they do good really aren't trying to do good, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Yeah, you do the right thing when no one's looking. I love it. That is beautiful. Yes. Oh, I like this one. Yes, Shatika's saying it's a country song. Live life as if it's your last. Yep. So don't be afraid to do certain things. And that's all I say to people. And that's one of the things I think I realized maybe a year ago. I just have to, like, get my act together and just do stuff. You know what I mean? And not be afraid, and don't let other people, poo poo on your dreams. You know what I mean? If you have a dream, just go ahead and do it, and do the best that you can to move forward in getting there. And it's nice to have support of friends and family and things like that, but you may not always get that support. And so, you just have to have the strength within yourself to believe in yourself and then just do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Uh-oh. So let's see. Oh, that's right. Miguel said, oh, the tornado watch. Oh boy. Dallas had some flooding. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I've seen a lot of flooding. It's been really raining. And see, normally it rains in April, and I don't think we got that much rain in April. I think we got more rain in May and June than we did in April, which is crazy. So, okay, so what did you find, Suzanne? Okay. Oh, I see what she found. She went to my two favorite places, Ollie's and Aldi, right? 15% off. Oh, you had a 15% off coupon and got some yarn. What kind of yarn did you get? Inquiring minds want to know. Yeah, she's laughing. Yeah, we enjoy the yarn. We enjoy the ollies. And there's God's desire for me. Yay! Good to see you. Hello, Kelly and everyone. Nice to see you. And let's see. And then Miguel saying, with online, you sort of need to keep your guard up and not let your emotions take over. It can be too easy to get involved in some chats that are really not uplifting. Right. Right. Yeah, I got you. Yes. And then once again, I'll just say thank you to those who come to the I Bring It Everyday channel, and support me in any way. It's well appreciated. Let's see. Samoan Watchman saying, we are practicing grounding as a family. 30 minutes a day minimum. Oh boy. Okay. That's great. Good for you. Good for you. All right, Miguel. And then Miguel saying, sorry, stay in my own lane. I like that. But yeah, this is good. Samoan Watchman. Nice. Okay. 30 minutes a day. So you get off. I love it. I think that's good for the young kids, actually. He has younger children, so I get it. I love it. And then Minister Terry saying, I bring it every day. You've a lot of great assets that make you a genuine first class lady. Thank you. And not a fake ass wannabe. Well, oh, your husband is a wise gentleman for marrying you. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, like I said, we figured it out pretty early, but thank you. You're very kind. We figured it out pretty early that we were a pretty good match. And the other thing that we realized too is that like I said, you have to do the interview. And what does the interview mean? I call it the interview, but that's not exactly what it is. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But you just have to really get to know somebody before you marry them. And we covered, all the major topics before we got married, So like housing, education, children, how to raise the children, our spiritual situation, all those things. So we went through a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Before we got married. And so I was confident, when we did that we'd be okay. And we've been okay, which is good. So here we go. Yeah, fear. Yeah, fear. Here we go. Thank you. We must remember that fear comes from one of six places. This is what Associate Minister Terry saying. Lack of faith. Nice. Lack of knowledge. Lack of experience. Lack of preparation. Ooh, not telling the truth and listening to someone too scared. Wow. That's interesting. So I like the lack of faith. Yeah. And that's the thing. You have to have faith. You have to, I think you do have to have faith in the higher power. And I don't know how other people feel about that. But one day I can talk about, like, I have a little testimony about, my experience and why I believe the way I believe. But I think a lot of people don't have faith. That is true. And lack of knowledge. And the thing is, you can always acquire knowledge. That's the good thing. So if you look at social media or just the internet in general, you can get information from anywhere. And it is amazing how much information that people have at their fingertips, but they don't necessarily utilize it, which is very interesting. Or unfortunately, too, the other side of that is there's a lot of misinformation. That's what I want to say online. So you really have to do your research. And I always say, if there's something you want to do, it's always good to interview people that do it, someone who can mentor you and do things like that. And let's see, lack of preparation. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing is preparation, in terms of anything in life. If you go in unprepared, like, you almost have to anticipate, you do your research, you rest yourself up. At least is the way the way I prepare is I rest up. I think about what I want to do before I do it. I have a general outline. I'm not that, I mean, I'm serious about it, but I in my mind, I'm going, okay, I want to talk about this, and this. And then you go in and you do it. And that way you don't have that fear for sure. Yep, I agree with that. Yes. And yeah, and lying. And I'll see, this is interesting. I want to talk a little bit about this lying or not telling the truth. I'm going to table that for a second. And let me put that in. Not telling the truth. Okay. I want to table that. I want to go back to that. Not telling the truth. I want to revisit that in just a second. Okay. Very good. I like it. Let's see, what else did he say? He said, "Oh, to get into the game of life." Right, too scared to get into the game of life. That's right. And let's see, Suzanne got some. Oh, she got that loopy yarn. Nice. So you with the 15% off coupon, so she's doing pretty good. Okay, I like that. Oh, okay. Ooh, look at Renee. She does love her husband. She said, "I knew I was marrying my husband on date one." Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Now, it wasn't for me. It wasn't date one. It might have been three, but yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good if you figure it out right away. Let's see. Oh, and he's saying, "Oh, you're welcome. Thank you." Yes. And then Terry saying, "We must remember it's better to give a person the sour truth rather than the sugar coated lie." I like that. See, and I have become more of a truth teller in my older age for sure. And oh, interesting. And we must remember that some people will feed you a lie just to see if you eat it. Oh wow. So let's go back to this. So this so the way I think about it is not telling the truth. There's so many ways. So remember there's was it lies of commission? Am I spelling this wrong? I don't know if I'm spelling it wrong. Was it one M? Okay, and then omission. I don't know if I'm spelling this wrong. Omission. Hold on. Commission and omission. So this is the what? So it's interesting. So this one is just a bold faced lie. Like you just go boom. The sky is purple, or the sky is right. That's a straight out bold faced lie. Now these ones here, those hit you in the face and they make sense. But for me, it's the omission. Is that omission? That doesn't look right. The lie of omission, right? See, this is the one that I think a lot of people do. Excuse me. That I never realized how much a lie of omission, how bad that is. Yes. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. I got to take a little sip here. Omission. Mm-hmm. Because this is interesting. Oh, it's just one M. That's what I thought. One M. Yep. Omission. Omission. Let's do that one again. So omission. I knew it was two S's. Yeah. So this is the one. So the lie of omission for me is this. So, like for example, if someone sees the truth in front of them and then they don't tell you what's happening, or they only tell you half the story, and I still think this is more damaging because this one, someone could have really helped you out, but they just kind of kept it to themselves. You know what I mean? Or they tried to hide it by just not mentioning it. See, the hiding part of it is a little bit scary. So anyway, yeah, so that's a big thing. I think lies of omission are bad. I mean, really bad. Can be really bad. Yeah. And you can tell me if I'm, off base or not. Let's see. And then Renee said, "I think accountability is important in my life." Yep. Own your decisions and action even when you make a mistake. Yeah, that's a good one. So accountability. Yeah, we'll do that. Yes. Accountability. Yeah, that's a big one. And this is hard. And this is where whenever you become this is when you start to become an adult. When you become accountable, in other words, like if you do something wrong, if you wrong somebody, you apologize. And it's really, really simple, you know? Apologize. Yep. And you just go, "Hey, I did it. I realized that wasn't the right thing to do." Bam, and then you apologize. And I think that's hard to do for a lot of people. Yeah. And that's a big deal. And I think if you can get to that point in your life, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yep. Let's see. And then Terry's saying, "That's true. Yep. I think that's great. Yeah, we must remember nobody comes out of the womb knowing everything." Right. And that's the big thing. So it's okay. It's okay not to know. But I think if you don't know, then you have to sort of seek out the info. But a lot of people don't. And I always wonder why. It's because I was always a very curious person. Yeah. Yep. And then let's see. Bila's saying, "A failure to do something, especially something that one has a moral or legal obligation to do." Right. Yeah, that's it. And so that's the biggest thing. And I can't think of a good example right now. Um But that's a huge thing, just owning up. See, like I said, I will own up to if I've done something wrong or offended somebody. I will, you know, I will own up to it. But if but I will not, confess to something I didn't do. You know what I mean? Or at least knowingly do, and I will definitely say that. Yep. And then here we go, Terry saying, "We must remember an experience is a failure if you didn't learn anything from it." Yep. Yeah, and that's a big thing. So I have people in my life that are high achievers, and it's interesting. They did not view failure like that, Terry, or anybody else. And it's interesting, and I'm not sure what's. I'm sure there's a psychological situation with that, but because, like I said, see, the thing is, I think a lot of people are afraid of failure, right? So therefore, they become really, really stagnant. You know, so I always say, don't be afraid to fail because you will learn something. You should learn something from it. And the thing that you learn is, you know, this is the way not to do it. Maybe there's another way. You know what I mean? But I had people that were like, if you failed, it was like a horrible thing. But you have to learn, like usually like these are life takes you through learning experiences. So if something doesn't, go right away, you may have to approach it from a different angle. And that's okay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, there we go. Bila. Omission is commonly mistaken by not blabbering about things. Yeah. And it's interesting because omission can get people into trouble. I'm just trying to think of it. I just can't even think of an example right now. But so like, I don't know. See, you always hear about these I know this is a little controversial, but those DNA tests, and then you find out that like somebody has a secret family. And then this always happens on the soap operas, but this happened a couple times on one of the soap operas I used to watch. Somebody almost married their brother because it turned out they were related and they didn't even know, right? So that's that omission. That's like a crazy serious situation. But I remember that was kind of insane. And it turned out it was like the girl's half brother, right? And just think if she hadn't if she was like taking her time getting to know the guy and the whole thing, and it turned out it was her brother. And it's because her family didn't know, nobody told her that she had siblings out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's important. How you can get into trouble. So apparently, like these DNA tests, I've heard that people have found out, about secret families and stuff that way. That's just a crazy example, but that's the only one I could think of. Yep. Okay, and then oh, that's right, that came in twice. And then Miguel saying, "But do not allow people to make you feel like a failure." Ooh, that's good. I'm gonna write that one down. Okay, Miguel, I see you. Okay. And he's like, "Do not." I'm gonna capitalize that one. Do not allow people. Yeah. Yes. I like this one. I love this one. This is good, and I think this is a good. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so I had some siblings that were like this, you know, and so I always had to tell myself, "Girl, it'll be okay." It didn't work out. You'll be okay. But it's interesting how some people will try to make you feel like a failure. Oops. Do not allow people to make you feel like a failure. Yes. Yeah, that's really important. Yeah, do not. So I love that. Let's see if I can get that in there better. I made that a little bit too big. But yeah, do not allow people to make you feel like a failure. Because, like I said, you can always pivot and make changes. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, like Minister Terry said, you don't come out of the womb knowing everything, so you have to learn. I mean, that's part of life. So there we go. I love that. Love that. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So Bila's saying, I can choose not to talk about something that might cause commotion, rather not choose to do the right thing. For instance, I talk a lot, but I would not breach confidentiality ever. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that's like a big thing. Confidentiality. Yeah, so that's a really big thing, and that's like a trust. That's a trust thing too, and that sort of shows what kind of moral code you have. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm one of those people who, if you told me something, you'll never hear about it again. I'll take it to the grave. But there's a lot of people that might take something like that's very confidential and then spread it around, which is very sad. Yeah, so that's a good thing. That's awesome. Let's see, BOK Media, welcome in. Hey, hey, hey. Did you say hey? Thank you so much for coming in. Yes. And then Terry saying you can't change another person's eyes. You can only control what they choose to see is up to them. You present in front of them. Yeah. Oh, what you present in front of them. The question is, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Yep. That is the thing. Yeah, and it's true. You cannot control other people's reactions, to things that you do. But the bottom line is, you can control how you choose to react, how other people treat you, or whatever. You know what I mean? And so you have to have self confidence. Yep. And self confidence is not being cocky. It's just, it's like self love. You know what I mean? You have to love and respect yourself. You know what I mean? It's really important. Because the thing is, nobody else is going to do it. No, you have to do it. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh, okay. I see Vila saying, especially because I don't have a good memory. Oh, nice. That's actually good. Then you don't have yeah, nothing gets out. But it's true, like I said, are you trustworthy? Or do you how good of a friend are you? Things like that. But yeah, that's one of those things, I definitely, have spent time in my life, just trying to do no harm, and that's really what it is. Do no harm, be as good of a person as I can be, kind, helpful, when necessary and all that. Yes. Oh, here we go. I love this. Let's see. Associate Minister Terry. If you think you're going to fail, you will do something to make your failure happen. So why run a race when you think you're going to fail? You must keep a positive mindset. That's good. I love that too. All right. So we're going to do this. I'm going to throw this right here. I don't even have to write this one down. So I'm going to say, think positive, be positive. Let me see here. That's good. Think positive and be positive. Yeah. So that's the deal there. That's for sure. Yeah, because it's sort of like they call it like the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you're going to fail, you will. If you think you're going to fail, you will. That's right. Yep. And then Miguel's saying, I'm having to deal with a few very difficult people in my little circle outside of YouTube. It is not easy, but I've told myself I refuse to react. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, what is that? Self control. Oh, I'm going to put that on here. Self control. Let's see. Self love. Self control. Yeah, that's hard, isn't it? Yeah, it's self control. And I think as you get older, this becomes better. It becomes easier as you get older. Uh, I know when I was much younger, I was always blah. And I've been one of the things that I've learned is like I like the count to 20 before you say anything. That counting to 20 is so amazing. It's gotten me out of a lot of problems. It has saved me from saying something crazy. And that is really something that I've been working on for probably 15, 20 years, just count to 10 when someone says something crazy. Yep. Yep. So I don't react in a negative way. There we go. Oh, I love it. RESPECT. Yes. I love that song. Yep. It's more than Aretha Franklin song. That's right. There you go. And that is correct. Respect goes both ways in a relationship. Yeah. And you really, And that's the whole problem, I think, in life is that usually it's one-sided. Not always, but a lot of times I'm meeting a lot of people who really don't respect other people. And it's kind of weird. I've been on this roll. I've been meeting it seems like I'm in this constant role of people just being disrespectful for no reason. You know what I mean? To everybody. And it's weird. Like I'm not used to handling it. So I'm having a really hard time, I will say, dealing with people who are disrespectful. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Okay, Terry saying, we must remember if a person can't respect you, yeah, no, yeah, they don't deserve your yes. If they can't respect your no, they don't deserve your yes. That's correct. Yep. There we go. And then Renee saying, don't be a right fighter. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? People disagree. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, the right fighter is interesting. I've tried my darndest not to do that. Yeah. Because I know sometimes, like they say, you have to choose your battles. I like that. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Yeah. And people are going to disagree. So I would say, choose your battles. Yeah, that's kind of the choose your battles. Yep. And I talk about this all the time. With my husband, I go, sometimes you just have to walk away. You have to choose those battles. You know what I mean? But yeah, people do disagree, and there's no problem with disagreeing, because I think a lot of times I notice with this YouTube stuff, if people don't agree with you, they block you in 20 seconds, and I'm like, whoa, like you can't have an adult conversation? Question mark. I don't know. I mean, I just find that interesting, but I don't know. It's just that people don't want to talk about stuff. They just want to block you. It's interesting. Yes, but I agree with that, Renee, for sure. And then Terry saying, we must remember if a person doesn't want you sitting at their table, don't devalue yourself by walking through their front door. Ooh, that's a big one. That is a big one. Yes, I like it. Yeah, that's for sure. Because people, if they don't respect you, you got to get out of there. Because it's not for your positive. It's not uplifting you. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's the part of life you want to be uplifted instead of taken down, right? Yep, I love it. And then he's saying we must remember the difference between a warrior and a soldier. Oh, nice. A warrior will fight all the battles in their life. Wow. A soldier will pick and choose the battles they fight in their life. Ooh, nice. I ask myself the following question: is the victory worth the battle? Yes. If no, that's time and energy saved. Oh, yes. I like it. I'm gonna leave that up there for a while. Yep. Is the victory worth the battle? If no, that's time and energy saved. Wow, that's amazing. And that's where I'm at too in life. Like I said, I am trying to conserve, I'm conserving energy. And so I'm trying not to battle what I call small battles. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's definitely things. So if there's like a huge moral situation attached to a decision, then then I'm really serious about it, and I will think and think and think about it, and then I'll come to then I'll figure it out. But small battles, yeah, I definitely feel like it's just not worth my time and energy. And it sort of stifles me worrying about the minutia. Yeah. So yeah, I like it. And then Miguel saying, growing up, my late mom taught me that kindness is like a boomerang. It will come back to you. All right now. Okay, Miguel, I'm gonna leave that there. I love it. Yes. So your mom sounded very wise. Very, very, very wise. So now, what do you think of this? Now that you talked about kindness, let me know what you think about that. I hear a lot of people talking about be kind, be kind, be kind. And my whole thing is you can say be kind, but you actually have to do the actions. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and behind the scenes. Because it's easy to say be kind, be kind, be kind. But I'm saying, like, are people really kind? So that's a question I'll pose to the class there. What do you think about that? Being authentic. Yeah. So I like that. So your mom's saying And and I think if you're going to be kind, be authentic, and like Renee says, do it whether nobody's looking or not. Yep. So that's good. Oh, and good morning, Miss Anna. Good morning to everybody. Yep. Thank everyone. Thank you for coming in. So these are just kind of some of the things that I was thinking about this week. Was just that we do want to kind of stay on the positive. We want to make sure like for sure that we don't want to do harm. Let's see, what else did we talk about? You want to make sure that you give yourself some self-love, so and have your self-confidence if you have any kind of goals that you want to do, in life, because you just don't know how much time you have. Not to be morbid, but all those things, for example, you want to make sure that you let the people that that you love them, and constantly do that so that nobody's guessing, you know what I mean? And it's amazing that a lot of people don't get that love and support from their family, or at least they never say it out loud. So I'm just saying, do it. Telling the truth, trying to keep that balance in your life, being a better human, and then choosing those battles. Yep. Let's see. Okay. Oh, nice. Now I like this. Uh-oh. You talking about my yarn shopping, Renee? Being kind does not mean enabling. Right. Yeah, and that's a big thing. And I'm joking when I say that about the yarn stuff. But yeah, the whole thing is where somebody was talking about this. What? Oh my goodness. I don't know if it was the that trial that's going on in New York or something, but it seems like a lot of people get away with a lot of really crazy stuff if people are enabling them. And it's weird because see, I've never been, wealthy, like a lot of people. I've noticed that when you're when you're extremely wealthy and influential, people do treat you differently, and they're treated differently. And what I mean by that is, like for example, my I remember my mom was a nurse, right? And she always enabled doctors. So like if they acted like a jerk or whatever, oh, it's fine, he's busy, it's whatever, whatever. It's because this guy was on a slightly higher social, pecking order, whatever. And I remember saying, no, that doesn't give them a pass. You know what I mean? But that's what Renee, I think, is talking about, that enabling bad behavior. Like you got to fix it. Yeah, you got to fix it. And you should call it out, within reason. You know what I mean? And there's always a kind way to do that. Yeah. But let's see here. Oh, boy. Oh, here we go. Yes. Oh, boy. I missed a couple things here. Um, yes. Bila saying, do not fight to keep the peace, but whose? Right. Sometimes we have lost the inner peace to not cause commotions and lose our true selves to sadness. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to, like Renee said, you choose your battles. And I think sometimes you just have to say your piece. But it's how you say it. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's challenging. That takes some skills, how to communicate that kind of stuff. But yeah, let's see. And then Terry saying, "Oh, I bring it every day. Learned that great life lesson from my ex brother in law, Dennis." Oh, okay. Yes. Let's see. And then it's along the lines of we reap what we sow, the law of the harvest. Okay. Yeah. And and like I said, you can every like in life, a lot of things are choices. You have choices. How you react to something is your choice. You can be angry and see, like I said, when in anger, you do a lot of crazy stuff in anger. And so I like that count to 20 seconds, before you do anything, right? And then yes, and this is good. Terry's saying you're the author of your life. What do you want your obituary to say? Ooh, that's a good one. Let's see. You're the artist of your life. I like this. What colors are you going to put on the canvas? Nice. And then learn to be the shepherd of your life. Do not let someone else make you the sheep of your life. Yeah. Yep. Like I said, we have a lot of free will. You know what I mean? And then let's see. Learn to be the driver of your life. Don't let someone else make you the passenger of your life. Ooh, that's good. All right, Minister Terry, I see you. Oh, okay. Miss Anna saying, I don't understand how people can't be kind. It's so easy to be kind. I feel like it's harder to be mean. Yes. And that's interesting that you say that because I think, so my theory on all of this stuff is that people who are mean have been hurt in the past. So they say hurt people hurt people. And I think that is true. And it's usually somebody that you love, like your parent, a sibling, or somebody, they come at you crazy. I don't know why like family members do that, but I think that's where a lot of that comes from. I think it's like really close people to their proximity. Yeah. But you're right. I think it for me, it's definitely harder to be mean. I really do. Yeah, for me also. Yeah, I'm the same. Yep. Let's see. Bila saying kindness should be a verb. It is a word that is overused on YouTube. Kindness requires action, not only words. Yes. And I was trying to allude to that a little bit earlier, but I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's like because I noticed that a lot of people, especially in our little community, the crochet people, they always say, be kind, be kind, be kind, be kind. And but I don't always see that in. So it's interesting. I don't physically see people being kind, but I hear people saying be kind. Yeah, it's interesting. Yep. And let's see. Oh yes, uh, Terry saying, please give a person their roses and forgiveness while they are alive, not after they're dead. It's too late. Yep. Please celebrate a person's life and accomplishments while they're alive, not after they're dead. Oh, that's amazing. Hmm. Oh, which reminds me, does anybody have any accomplishments they want to celebrate today? And let me know in the chat. Because I was thinking about that too. That's ironic that you mentioned that. Okay. I like it. Let's see. Yeah, so while they're alive, and we're all farmers in another person's life, we can plant seeds or we can plant weeds. Oh, this is great. Wow. Okay. Seeds are the positive things in life and the light of life. Nice. Weeds are the negative things in life and the darkness of life. Okay, now. All right. This is good. And four, the question is, what are you planning in another person's life? I love this. And see, he's saying, we must remember, don't talk about it, be about it. Yes. Don't be like some dogs, all bark and no bite. I love it. Yeah. So that's the thing. So you got to walk that walk. I'm going to say, walk the walk, walk the walk. I love this. Walk the walk and talk the talk, but together. You know what I mean? Yep. But you can't walk without the talk. You got to do both. You got to talk and walk, not one or the other. Yeah. I like it. Yes. Okay. That is good. I'm loving it. Loving it. Loving it. So Minister Terry's doing great. I'm gonna have you do all the motivational talks today. Anyway, it's so good to see you. But thank you so much for your help on that. So that's where we are today. So hopefully, let's do the summary here. You go back to these. Let's just make sure we got everything here. So these are the main points. We'll just do the summary here. So let's be better humans on Motivation Monday. I like this. Choose your battles. Walk the walk. Talk the talk. Um, let's make sure we continue this week. Let's all work on this. Hopefully, this can squeeze in there. I wrote this a little bit. Do not allow people to make you feel like a failure if something doesn't go well, and make sure you have that self confidence to try things, and you have to give yourself self love. You don't know everything. It's going to take you time to learn things. It's okay. And self control is, we were talking about whenever you're dealing with other people who may not be as kind or understanding. Um, you just have to be able to choose your words appropriately. You know what I mean? And let's see, you know, get that accountability in your life. You want to, if you do something wrong, you fix it. No big deal. And like I said, I don't like these lies of omission because people can lie in your face. We see it all the time, right? Uh, but just, doing the right thing, telling the truth, telling the truth, you want to tell the truth. And and like I said, I always say, watch these lies of omission because it's easy. Because people get into trouble, in my opinion, because of these. Try to keep that balance in your life. Try to figure out what's going to make you happy, what's going to feed you in your life, and you make your life fulfilling. And whether that's, family stuff, and then you want to live your best life now. And, don't don't try to make those goals later because life is short. I keep saying life is short. And if you want to live your best life, you have to choose. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is choices. And you go, hey, I want to work on this, I want to work on that, then that's what you do. And like I said, and just take small steps. You don't have to change your life all in one day, but everybody knows that they have certain things that they have to work on, you know. And don't be afraid to do those little steps. But hopefully, when you're done doing all this, you'll get to that best life. And you have to define that for yourself. What that means, right? And let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Yep. I bring it every day. The seeds and weeds life lesson I learned from minister and male YouTuber Eagles Soaring High. Oh, I love that guy. Yeah, he's good. He is good. I like it. Yeah, the seeds and the weeds, because that is the question. Whenever you leave here on this earth, what do you want to leave behind? And the one thing that I was thinking about this. I used to work with these, older men and stuff, and their whole thing was, hey, I worked 90 hours this week. Oh, I worked 60. Oh, I worked 80. And I remember going, yeah, but is this fulfilling? Because like we all have to work. Like a lot of us don't have a whole lot of money, so you work to pay the bills. But the whole thing with these guys, I felt like they didn't have the balance, and they just I think they felt like they were doing the best for themselves if they worked more hours. And it's not necessarily, for me, I felt like they did not have this balance. So I felt like their family life was trash, right? And I told them. Now I was pretty young. Like I was in my 20s at the time, and these guys were in their 40s and 50s. And one day I asked one of the men in my office, I said, so, okay, so you worked all these hours, and then what? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, when's the last time you talked to your son? And the reason why I asked him this question was he invited us over to his house. Basically, we had a little barbecue. It was nice, and he had a 13-year-old son, and I think at the time he was about 45, 48. He was 48 years old. That's right. He had a 13-year-old son, and I said, hey, um, so anyway, I just ended up talking to his son for a long time, probably a couple hours. We were there about 3 hours. I think I talked to the son for about 2 hours. And so afterwards I said to him, I was like, hey, you know, your son told me he wanted to do X, Y, and Z. He told me this, he told me that. And the guy was like, really? And I was like, yeah, you might want to talk to your son. Because you said, he's 13. Like he's only going to be around about 5 more years. Then he's going to go to college and who knows what. And I said, so, like, because I said, you guys work so hard, you're never home. And, like your family life is trash, basically. And so my point is, when I told him all these things that his son was into, he had no idea, right? And I said, I met this boy for 2 hours and I figured out his whole life in 2 hours. And his father, who lives with him all the time, had no idea some of the stuff that he was into. Anyway, so my point is, it gets back to this balance. What kind of seed do you want to leave? And And so my seed for this guy was, I was like, listen, you got to kick up your family life a little better because you're at work too much. And you don't have to be there that much because there wasn't that much work to be done, to be honest. But anyway, there's that. But anyway, that's my little ramble there. Uh, so the balance, yes. And then Terry saying, we must remember when a person tells the truth, they're making genuine deposits in the bank of trust and keeping it. Oh man, that is for real. That is so true. That is so true. But like I said, that, so you know what I mean. So that's kind of what I mean by balance. Don't let one thing fall to the wayside just because you want to strut around saying I worked more than you did. Doesn't matter because when you die, does your kid say how much time did you spend with me? Zero. Things like that. But anyway, here's the last thing I want to do. I want to say, and I left a little short about this, but I'll put this in here just at the very end here. And let me put this down here. Um, so so like I said, you got to keep going. I know this does not fit in here very well. I made this a little bit. I wrote this on a slightly different thingy here. Let me see if I can get that up a bit more. There we go. Okay. So the final thing is, once you decide what you want to do and you want to keep going, you want to make sure that you keep going. And let me see if it'll be easier to read it this way. So it says when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. This is Franklin D. Roosevelt. And this is one of the things where they say is you don't give up. So if you find that you're hitting the wall and you're doing things, you want to hang on and just keep going. Yep. And there it is. But anyway, it's hard to. I wrote this on another time. But anyway, but let's see. Oh, let me go back here. Let me go back. But I'm just going to leave that there. Let's see. But I like Eagle Soaring High. Yeah, that's a good channel. And then Terry saying, we must remember when a person tells the truth, yeah, they're making genuine deposits. Yep. And then he said, the mother is by biology, the mommy is by choice. Ooh, nice. And then, whoops, hold on. Almost had a fat finger there. There we go. The father is by biology, the daddy is by choice. Oh my gosh, that is huge. Yes, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah, and I say like, your kids, you only have them for a little while, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's really important. Let's see, we got Butterwell Boutiques here. Hello. Good to see you. And welcome in. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat. Yes, and biology doesn't equal being a parent. Wow, that is so true. I love it. Yes, and say thank you to all those who support the channel. Yes. Let's see, keep going. 80% of life, here we go, is not what happens, but how you react. The other 20% is beyond your control. Oh my gosh, that is so true. Yes. How you react to a situation can be just as deadly as the situation itself. That is right. That is so right. So right. So right. And we have Laura's here. Yeah, so talking about that. So once again, it always comes down to how you react to negative situations, you know? And the thing is, how you react is a choice. So like I said, I love that counting to 20. Count to 20 slowly. If somebody says something crazy, just before you say something back real fast, count to 20 in your mind and then respond. And you'll find that your answer will be much better than the first one. But anyway, Laura's here. Good to see you. Welcome in. And then Minister Terry's saying, if you think you're going to fail, you will do something to make your failure happen. Yep. Why run a race when you think you're going to fail? You must keep a positive mindset in life. I love it. So positive mindset. Yep. I love it. Yeah. So that's what it is. So I'm gonna just put this here. Be positive. Do some planning. You don't have to spend, lots of hours planning, but you want to do small steps every day or every few days, going forward. And you'll find that as you go through these small steps, you're gonna move forward. And that's what and you want to move forward. So you don't want to necessarily look back. Don't look back. There's a good Temptation song with the "Don't Look Back." I forget what it's called, but anyway, so there's all those things, and you'll find. Oh, hold on. Oh, let me see this one. Hold on. Be like Shaq and block the negative. I love it. Be like Dennis Rodman and grab the positive. Yeah, we love Shaq. Shaq is awesome, but that's life. You know what I mean? And so this week. And so anyway, I just want to ask if anybody has anything before I go. If there's anything that they want to celebrate, and if not, that's fine. But also make sure you celebrate yourself. Those small steps, in whatever way you want to do it. Celebrate your victories. You know, and that's the one thing I wanted to mention. Also, celebrate your victories. And even though you're probably you may not get celebration from other people, find that way to celebrate any victory that you might have. And let me see if I can show you one last thing here. I'll show you. I'll start this off here. Let me see here if I can find this real quick. Here we go. I'll do one victory here. Yes. Let's see. Oh geez, what is that guy's name? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. I'll show you this. Here's a victory. One victory. All right, here we go. So this is I want to say thank you to everybody. There we go. So this is my little celebration. So I have June 3rd, I got to 575,000 views on YouTube, which is crazy. Yeah. And I appreciate everybody who's been supporting the channel. Yeah. So that's a lot. And that's like 3 years in, 3 years in. Yeah. So that's my little celebration for the week. And but anyway, if anybody has anything else they want to celebrate, we'll do that. Yeah. Okay, here we go. But that's my little thingy. Let's see. Okay. Oh, be like Sammy Sosa. I like this. Let's see. Be like Sammy Sosa and swat away the negative. Be like Ken Griffey Jr. and catch the positive. I love Ken Griffey Jr. too. Yes. And be like a light switch. Turn off the light of the negative. Turn on the light of the positive. I love it. And be like a utility company. Disconnect the negative and connect the positive. All right now. And then let's see. Be like a punter and kick away the negative. Be like a running back and run toward the positive. We love it. And thank you, Renee. Yep. Oh, Simone Watchman, you're bad. Be sure you have milk before you eat a bunch of peanut butter sandwiches. I do enjoy. See, you don't do jelly. See, I love jelly with that, but that keeps you from being so stuck. I do enjoy peanut butter though. Yes, and I have not eaten that in a few days. I'm kind of like having withdrawal. Now you brought that up. But yeah, milk or some water. But yeah, anyway. So like I said, take care of yourselves, and you know, yeah, enjoy life. Enjoy the week. And I just want to also say, try to keep that balance going. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching and for your time. And we'll see you soon on the YouTube streets. Oh, let's see. Oh, Misty, hello. Good to see you. Oh, here we go. Here's a celebration. I love it. I love it. See, this is what we need. We need this. Celebrating being married 17 years after dating for 3 months. What? Scandal. Now, did her family freak out? She's like, "Who's this guy?" That's pretty. That's pretty. That's quick. All right now, but that's awesome. I love it, Simone Watchman. Oh, let's see. Be like a dog. Live on the now. Live on the now. Be like a dog. Live on the now. Yeah, dogs do live in the now, don't they? Sorry, bad reading. Yes, and hey, hello, Misty. Thanks for coming in. And yeah, we're just trying to think. Do you have any celebration, anything you want to celebrate this week? Because that's the thing. You gotta, as you go through life, there's a few victories, not a few victories, but when you win, make sure you celebrate some of those victories. Because a lot of things require a lot of work, and when you win, it's good. Winning is good. Let's see. um, let's see. Oh, red faced heart. Yeah, I can't read. I know, right? Let's see. Oh, Terry saying, please read the Holy Bible, Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. KJV, King James Version. A time and a season for everything under the sun. It's okay to have a selfish season in your life. A season all about you. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, and I think people need those periodically. And even though I try to talk a little bit about, I always try to say, like, not that you have to do everything every week, but usually I like to pick the week out, Monday, because it's sort of the start of the week ish. Just as time to think about, just stuff that you want to do. Yeah. And we get, oh, Lulu's treasure trove is here. Yep. So yeah, you definitely have to take care of yourself, and it comes back to that self love. And let's go back and see if I can find it here. Yeah, you got to do this self love, you know, and self love is actually, let's see here. Yeah, self love is actually self confidence, and self love is actually trying to better yourself. So you do need time and space to do those kind of things. So I agree with that. Yep. And everybody's saying hi. And let's see. Minister Terry saying Ecclesiastes moments are a time in the day where you meet your personal needs and personal wants. Not having Ecclesiastes moments will cause a decline in physical health and mental health. Nice. Yeah, that's really important. I like it. Yeah, you do. And you have to give time for yourself. So, like Miguel said, get out, get some air periodically. And balance. And I still say it comes back to balance. You have to have a little bit of everything in your life. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, let's see. Lulu saying hey. Yes, saying hey to everybody. Nice. Hope all is well. Yep. We're doing okay. Oh, there we go. Misty saying, here we go. She's saying, I celebrate getting through depression one day at a time. Yep, and that is true. I mean, and that's with anything in life. Like, you only get one day at a time, right? Yeah. But that's awesome. Yeah. I've never been through that, like, the official diagnosis, but, I understand, that it's not easy. It really isn't. But, so there we go. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I'll put this one up. I don't know if it'll squeeze in there. Oh, here we go. We'll do this one too. Throw this one in for the final. It's a little bit small here, or a little bit big, but I'll read it to you. So it says, optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. And it's Helen Keller. See, I'll have to do it this way. So optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. It's Helen Keller. So we talked a little bit about that, hope and confidence. And Helen Keller was she really became kind of a scholar, but she was she was deaf and blind, and she was born in 1880. I don't know why I remember that. I think it was 1880. 1888? Around 1880. Yeah, she was born 1888 and then passed away in 1968. But they really didn't know how to educate her at the time, because there really weren't people that were both deaf and blind, and her family kind of kept her from school. They just kept her home and kind of let her run kind of wild. But once they decided to hire a teacher who taught her, how to read and everything, her mind kind of opened up, and that's really the biggest thing. And I think, her parents didn't have that hope. They had given up hope, and she got a teacher that gave her hope, and she became to became very successful. Went to Harvard and some other places, and did a lot of speaking on the handicapped people. You know, people with a disability. Yeah. So, anyways, everyone's saying hi. Yep. And then, oh no, you're fine. You're lurking. That's good. All right, now let me see. Did I finish everybody? I got one more. I think that's everything. Oh, here we go. Red face heart shape. Here we go. And she's smiling. Oh, here we go. Psalm 1, 1 through 6. Let me see if I can find this here. To look it up real quick. And then a smile a day will keep depression away. Let me see if I can find that real quick here. Psalm. Uh-oh. Don't open that window. It's a bad window. Here we go. Let's do Psalms. 1. Okay, let's see. All right. Let's see. Okay. Oh, these are the ooh, okay. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners. Yes, nor sitteth at the seat of the scornful, but his delight is the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of the water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. Nice. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Nice. The ungodly are not so, but they are like chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. All right, now, Simone Watchman, that's pretty good. Let's see. And then Minister Terry saying, I've been through depression before. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Okay. Tell me more. It was one of the ways the great Lord Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit tried to use to get my attention. Nice. I have heard that before. Interesting. All right, now. And we have, 4 T's here. Welcome in. What's the topic today? Hand pink waving. So we talked a little bit about life, and if you want to go back and take a look, so like I said, so I'm kind of saying the time is now. Think positive. Think positive, be positive. Think positive, be positive. You know, keep that balance in your life. Uh, stay optimistic, and don't allow people to make you feel like a failure. And make sure that you have this, you know, you have to go through life with some self confidence and self love. And, the time is now. If there's anything that you want to do, you have to do it now, and don't let other people, steer you away from that. And that's really what I'm saying every day. Yep. And just take those little steps. But there we go. So that's it. But that's it. Yeah. So you can rewind 4T. But anyway, I appreciate you coming in. You've been such a big supporter. I appreciate that so much. Yes. But we're just trying to get the week started out on a positive note. And then, we can all do some great stuff this week. And that's really what you know, like I said, and then next week, if the things that you plan don't work out, you pivot and you try new things. You just keep trying to move forward and stay optimistic if you can. Yes. But there it is. All right, now. But anyway, I think that's all I have for you today. But thank you so much all for coming in, and Minister Terry, we appreciate you. He gave some good pearls of wisdom in there. Just a lot of good uplifting stuff, and that's kind of what we're trying to do here on the I Bring It Everyday channel. Yes. Uh-oh. All right. Well, anyway, I guess that's my cue. All right. So anyway, you guys have a good day, and we'll see you soon. All right. Okay. Take